Before we start, please be aware that this is for educational and entertainment purposes only. This is the verbatim federal courtroom testimony of the Sean Diddy Combs trial as published by Inner City Press. The courtroom fell silent as 50 Cent, known for his sharp tongue and no-nonsense demeanor, took the stand in what would become the most unexpected testimony of the Diddy trial. For years, he'd been clowning Diddy online, dropping cryptic jokes and bold accusations. But no one thought he'd step into court and say it all under oath. Now, as federal prosecutors probe deeper into a string of trafficking and misconduct charges, 50 has pulled back the curtain on an alleged hidden lifestyle that no one was supposed to talk about. He didn't just accuse Diddy of shady behavior. He brought receipts, a list, names, moments. The industry's worst-kept secret finally put on record. The judge warned the gallery to remain calm, but you could feel the tension shift. Because what 50 said next, and who he said was involved, changed everything. 50 Cent and Diddy's feud didn't start in a courtroom. It started in whispers, interviews, and viral Instagram posts. For years, 50's been the only rapper bold enough to publicly call out Diddy's behavior. Often laced in humor, but laced with deeper implication. In 2014, 50 Cent posted a meme insinuating that Diddy and Rick Ross had a closer-than-expected relationship. It made headlines for days, but most people brushed it off as trolling, but the jabs kept coming. In 2018, 50 appeared on The Breakfast Club and brought up a moment with Diddy that, in his words, gave him suspect vibes. He said Diddy once invited him to go shopping together, saying, "I'll pay for it." 50 raised his eyebrows and said, "Yo, this just seems funny to me. What grown man asks another man to go shopping with him and says he'll pay for it?" The room laughed, but the meaning was apparent. 50 was trying to tell people something about Diddy's private life. This wasn't just trolling anymore. In 2022, when the floodgates opened for lawsuits against Diddy and multiple accusers came forward, 50's tone changed. "Told you," he wrote on Instagram, reposting the Cassie lawsuit headline. "These fools have been playing nasty games for years." Fans started to take him more seriously, not as a troll, but as someone who had been trying to warn the public. Now under oath, 50 Cent is done playing games. The prosecution called him as a surprise witness to talk about what he knew from industry events, private meetings, and his own strange experiences with Diddy. It was his job to give the jury a clearer picture of the man behind the mogul mask. According to insiders, he brought a list of incidents, names, artists, collaborators, and victims. And it started with someone everyone already suspected, whereas evidence began with the name that most people already knew had a strange relationship to Diddy, Usher. He told the court what fans have been guessing for years, that Usher lived with Diddy when he was young, and what transpired during that time. That time raised questions that have never been answered. "I'm not saying Usher said anything to me," 50 clarified, "but we all knew about Flavor Camp, which is what Puff called it. Usher was just 14, and Puff was a grown man, and we used to wonder what the hell a teenage boy was doing living with a man like Diddy." He referenced the 2016 Howard Stern interview, where Usher, already an adult, awkwardly danced around the subject. There were curious things Usher said at the time, but he never elaborated. 50 told the court, "That boy looked like he had something he wanted to say, but Puff got that power, makes people quiet." He went on to talk about an event he attended where he saw Diddy and Usher interact. Years later, they still had that weird tension, he said, like Usher was keeping his distance. Not in a "we're just busy" way, but in a "you know what you did" way. Prosecutors asked if he had proof, recordings, witness statements, and so on. 50 said, "This industry doesn't work on paper trails. It's based on what people whisper backstage and what we see when the camera's off. When I say people know, I mean everyone knows. They're just too scared to say it." Something that no one saw coming. He took out a folded piece of paper from his inside jacket pocket. "This ain't no hit list," he said. "This is a truth list. This is who I know, who I heard, and who I believe. It's not just about Diddy being freaky. It's about how he used his power to pull young stars in." The first name, Usher Raymond. He was young, vulnerable, and Diddy was grooming him. Everyone knew. The gallery gasped, and the judge told them to remain silent. But this was just the beginning. After Usher, 50 shifted to someone who'd been recently caught on camera looking very uncomfortable. Rapper Fabulous. During an appearance on the Drink Champs podcast, Diddy kept asking Fabulous why they never party together. "We ain't never really party," Diddy said, grinning. But Fabulous just laughed nervously and looked away. In court, 50 described what he saw behind the scenes. "I was there for that Drink Champs episode. I watched Fab shrink in his chair when Diddy started pressing him," he said. "That wasn't no joke. That was fear. Real fear." He then recalled a private industry event where Diddy reportedly cornered Fabulous and made another advance. "I remember Fab telling someone, 'Man, I just want to go home.' And Diddy wouldn't let him. Puff kept saying, 'Come on, I have a room upstairs. Just relax.' Fab slipped out the back door, which fit with what Fabulous had said on Instagram about pretending to go to the bathroom and then sneaking out of a Diddy party at 7 a.m. He never wanted to be there. 50 told the court he was there because of pressure. That's what Puff does. He pressures people. The jury was shocked when 50 said he personally warned younger rappers to stay away from Diddy. "I told them, don't take gifts, don't go to his house, and don't ever agree to a party after the party. That's when things get dark." But what he said next made the courtroom buzz. "There's a whole group of us, artists, bodyguards, and assistants, that all have stories. But Puff has lawyers, power, and fear on his side. That's why I'm here, to say it plainly." With just 3 names mentioned so far, everyone knew more was coming. The prosecutors asked 50, "Are you willing to name everyone on that list?" 50 looked Diddy in the eye and replied, "Oh yeah, this is just the warm-up." As the courtroom leaned in, 50 Cent turned his attention to one of the most shocking names on his list, Justin Bieber. "This one is going to hurt some of you," 50 remarked, "because people still see Justin as that little kid with the bowl cut. But let me tell you, Puff had him around when he was new to the game, and a lot of people didn't like it." 50 talked about a famous video from a few years ago in which Diddy said, "I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me." The mogul remarked, "We're going to go full buck, full crazy," but he was under oath. 50 argued that people in the industry always knew what that really meant. Nobody's talking about mentoring when it's 2 a.m. in Miami and the kid is 15. Prosecutors asked 50 what he thought happened during that time. He didn't give graphic details, but he made his point clear. "I ain't saying nothing happened. I saw it with my own eyes. But I heard it from people close to Justin, people in the camp who were scared to talk. They said it wasn't music lessons or songwriting. It was exposure to things no teenage boy should see." He went on to say that Bieber later distanced himself from Diddy entirely, and when asked in an interview if he would let his own kid go to Flavor Camp, he laughed nervously and answered, "No way." 50 told the court that wasn't a joke. It was him remembering. He said that Bieber's later breakdowns, public meltdowns, and deep emotional trauma were partly caused by the dark side of fame, which he said Puff orchestrated. Puff finds them young, promises them the world, and then controls them with gifts and silence. 50 remarked, "And the quiet is loud." When asked if Bieber ever spoke out directly, 50 said, "No, not publicly." But he said a lot by what he didn't say, what he avoided, and how quickly he moved away from Puff when he had the chance. The jury had to think about what that meant. People said that Diddy looked down at the table with no expression, but the courtroom wasn't done yet. 50 Cent was just getting to the part of the list that included people who were even closer to the streets, and the secrets that only he had the guts to tell. When 50 Cent stopped and looked directly at Diddy before speaking again, the courtroom murmured. "This ain't just hearsay," he said. "I got it directly from the guy who saw it." The room was quiet as he went on. "I'm talking about my guy." Gene Deal, Diddy's longtime bodyguard, had spoken before in an interview, but now he was under oath. 50 recounted John's claim about a strange shopping trip to an adult bookstore. Gene said Puff was in there buying all kinds of toys, things you don't even want to picture, like racks of stuff. Gene had to carry the bag because he was security. But what happened next made the story unforgettable. They flew out for a show in North Carolina. 50 testified that Gene said Puff and J. Rule went into a private suite and told Gene to stand guard at the door. A few minutes later, Ja Rule himself opened the door, stuck his head out, and said to Gene, "Yo, you might not want to come in here. It's a little freaky in here tonight." The courtroom got uncomfortable as the prosecution leaned in and asked 50, "What did that mean?"